In this video, I want to show you how to set up RStudio server on AWS. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to sign up for an AWS account, and you also need to sign up for AWS Educate and redeem your coupons so that you get $100 worth of usage for free. So once you've done that, you're ready to just go to aws.amazon.com and say sign in to the console. So here we are. So I'll just enter my password like this. And what I want to do now is I want to launch a virtual machine on which I'll run my server. I can do that by either pressing this button or by going services and then going to EC2 and then going launch instance. So the first thing that happens is I need to select the operating system and the software that I want to be on my server. So what I want is I want to click on Community AMIs and then search for RStudio like this. I'm pressing return now. And the first thing that comes up here, so that is the name, is acceptable. So I'll just go select like so. Now here you got to select the hardware on your server. So this way would be kind of less intensive and cheaper, and this way would be more expensive, and it also will kind of run faster in general. So you can see the specifications here. So this is generally kind of worse than you have on your laptop, so probably not what you want. So we'll go with T2 medium. It might be that you need something larger. You can look up the prices for all of those on the AWS website. So next, I'm going to be configuring the instance details. So this is all fine. The storage, so 20 gig is very likely fine unless you're running a really large model that you then need to save. So I would start with 20 gig. If something doesn't work there, then well, you need to restart everything and add more storage. Here we don't need to do anything. This is an important step, so we do need to add a rule. So I'm clicking add rule like this, and I'm saying that I want to allow HTTP access. So this is all fine. Now I go review and launch. So those warnings are okay. So it's true that we're paying, and it's true that we opened HTTP access, but we actually wanted that. So I'm ready to say launch. So here, if you're doing this the first time, you will not have a key pair created already, so you will need to create a new key pair. So I'll do that. So here I'll call this AWS P5. You can choose whatever name you want, and then I'll download that. Okay, so this downloads into my downloads folder. So if I go to my downloads folder, so you do that like this, you can check that you downloaded awsp.pm like this. So this thing would appear. So if you don't have it, or if you're in the wrong folder, so for example, I don't have this file, so that'll say that there is no such file, but this one is there. So that's good. You'll see how to use it later. So, okay, now I'm ready to say launch instance. So what you might like to look at is kind of various billing alerts. So here, if you click here, you'll see that I enabled all of those. I enabled kind of the alerts. I also created a budget over here where I asked it to actually send me email if I go over 10 bucks. Just so that I know that that things are running, because generally I'm not running anything. So if I left something running by accident and it's running up the bill, I want to know. If you are usually running stuff that costs more than $10, of course, like you'd want to create a larger budget. Okay, and you create the budget with this button. Okay, so we'll go back to the console and we'll view the instances. So here you see that this is already running. Now, if I had not gone and looked at billing management, you will have seen that it didn't start running straight away. It was starting up initially, and here you see it's still initializing actually. So you might need to wait a few minutes until you get to this state. Once you get to this state where it says running here, you can go and work with your RStudio server. So in order to do that, what I'll do is I'll copy and paste this. So this is the public DNS. And I'll just open a new tab and I'll go here. So the username here is going to be RStudio. The password is going to be the instance ID. So that is just because that is what the software that I selected does by default. It makes the password be the instance ID, right? So it's not a universal rule or anything. So what I did is I selected this. I said Command C. And here I'm saying Command V. So what I'm kind of inputting is this thing, right? So that's the instance ID. That's exactly what this guy is. So, okay. So now I'm going to go sign in. And my RStudio is going to start in a second. Great. So here I can do whatever I want. So I can create new files. I can, for example, say, you know, A is 5 or something like this. So now A is 5, right? So I can do whatever I want. So, okay. So now I'll just briefly show you how to transfer data between your server and your local machine. So here is what you can do. So we'll say this. So this is assuming that I'm in downloads because I said CD downloads. So I'll go change mod 400 awsp5.pm like this. And once I have that, I can connect to my machine. So here's how I connect to my machine. So I'll go here and I'll say action connect like this. And that'll give me what I need in order to connect. So again, I'm going Command C like this. And I'm going Command V like this. So the first time that I try to connect, it'll ask me yes, no. So I'll say yes. And here I am. So here I can basically see what files, for example, I have on my server. So not very much. So what I have is this and this. This is just kind of from the initial software installation. That's what was left. So, okay. So now let's try to create a file on our server and then get it. So what I'll do is, let's say that I have this variable a equals to 5. It's important to me. So I want to save that. So how would I do that? So first of all, I need to find out in which folder on the server I am. So in order to do that, I'll say get wd, like so. So I'm apparently in home RStudio. Okay. So now I'll say save. And what I want to do is I want to save the variable a, and I want to save it to the file, I don't know, secret data, our data, like this. Okay. Great. So I saved it. So now remember, I was connected to my server, so I can go to home RStudio like this. And here I have my, oh, it's secret. So here I have my secret data.rdata. So whatever. Okay. So, all right. So how do I get it to my local machine? So what I'll do is first I'll just say log out. And now what I'll do is, instead of going SSH here, sorry. So instead of going SSH here, what I need to do is I need to say SFTP. Okay, so now I'm connected. So now I need to go to home RStudio like this. And now I'm going to get my files. So in order to do that, I'll say get, and then I'll put in the name of the file. Like so. In order to quit the SFTP session, I'll say bye. And now I'm back on my machine. So now let's say that I want to load it. So in order to do that, I'll do something like this. So here, first of all, so I was initially in my downloads folder. So I switched my working directory to downloads. And now what I want to do is I want to load like this. And there you have it. I now have A, which is equal to 5. Okay. In the next video, I'll show an example with running RStudio.